Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for another video between myself and Joe. Joe's appeared on the channel a couple of times before. We've done videos about various things, costumes, the 14th Doctor costume, some of Peter Capaldi's costumes. We'll be doing more of that later on, so stay tuned. But today we are looking at another Rubbertoe Replicas sonic screwdriver. We looked at the 11th Doctor one, didn't we, a few months ago, and now you've gone and got another one.
Unfortunately, quite the expense. However, in true Time Lord fashion, it's not always linear, is it?
It's not always linear, no.
So
no, absolutely,
we're going backwards.
We're going backwards. Now, so this is going to be a sort of unboxing, right? Have you seen it at all yet, or not?
I did do a couple of tests on it because I needed to make sure. I wasn't sure if it came with batteries or not.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure it did. It was all perfect, fine. Thank you, Nick. It's arrived in somewhat good condition. I'm going to make a few comments about improvements that I personally think that could be made to it, considering the price range and bracket you're in. Mm-hmm. But first of all, what I'd like to start with, because I felt a bit guilty purchasing this, because I let Richard know when I had actually bought this item. I was like, we're going to film a video on it, and I've kept this top secret. I don't think I've shared it anywhere, have I? To knowledge that I have this currently.
No,
not even on Instagram.
No.
So it's stayed between us, and we'll do a whole launch, and I'll get a post out of it. But we thought the best way is that, because I don't do YouTube, this gives you a bit of content to review it. But first of all, I did get you a little something from Rubbertoe, so this is
amazing.
yours.
Thank you very much.
Address rubbed out
Very,
and everything.
hefty little package here.
And you'll need to open it. I thought it's very nice, and it's a good gift for you, because you will use them.
Okay. Very intriguing. I was saying to you beforehand, we'll have to see if we can get into this first. I was saying to you beforehand, I've often looked at the Rubbertoe website, like looking at things back in the day, like the Power of 3 Cube or the Siege Mode TARDIS, the kind of things at the cheaper end of the scale, like 100 quid or whatever, or 50 quid, thinking, oh, it would be nice to get something, because the Sonics, are probably
just say you own really. Something.
Just to have something, kind of, like a replica and stuff. So it'll be very, very nice to finally be able to add something to the collection. Very intrigued.
I haven't seen these, so this could go horrifically wrong, and everything could be smashed up, obliterated.
So we've got no bubble wrap, no kablam bubble wrap. We have these little bad boys instead.
Oh dear, choking hazard 101.
Okay, so yeah.
Thanks, Nick. They're protected.
It's a box full of packaging. No, so how am I going to do this?
How are we going to do this?
I'm going to have to just
hang on, if you pass them to me.
Okay, right. Go for it.
Oh, this is how it begins and how it ends.
Oh, we have got some bubble wrap, actually. We have.
All right, well, that's fortunate. Very well packed, considering.
This is like...
So, if you take the thing that's in bubble wrap out, I'll dump the rest of this in here.
It's like snow. Snow is falling around us like in the new episodes. Stay tuned.
Church on the River Road.
Right, there we go. Into there. And we have the thing itself. And then need this again. Okay. Very intriguing. Very, very intrigued by this.
Very intriguing indeed. It's a bit like parcel, really, at the moment.
I can see I can see the Rubbertoe Replicas logo through there.
Fortunately, there was no order form in there with all the details on.
Doxed ourselves. Got the Rubbertoe logo there, and then the insignia from Series 5 to 7 there. Very intriguing. Moment of truth, I suppose. Let's have a look.
I'll have a little look.
I've got a suspicion, actually, what this might...
It's a square.
Be. Yeah, they're coasters, right?
Yeah, because I thought you're a T-man. You will use
very
these. Good. And they're a very nice display piece. I did pick them up. I was like... I thought of Richard when I saw them. And I was I feel these will be right up your street.
Ah, yes. Yes, I have seen these before. So we have the Sidemen, fantastic. So,
out of order, of course.
Got like an 80s one there.
That's got to be Earthshock, right?
Earthshock on the back. Doctor Who logo, blah, 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 not dishwasher safe.
Why would you dishwash a coaster?
It's a clean wipe with a damp cloth, fantastic. So for the moment, I'll just maybe prop these here if they're
That's fine, don't worry.
gonna be in shot. Hopefully you'll be able to see those. So yeah, I have seen these before actually. And again, actually, it's one of the things I've thought of when I've been
really
looking at
high
the cheaper items. So let's try and remember which ones we have. There's definitely like a Cybus one, I think, right, and then some 60s ones. Let's have a look. Okay, so that one doesn't have the sticker on the back. That is
Invasion, because of the circle.
Mark 0.04. So yeah, Invasion maybe.
Invasion, maybe.
I suddenly feel like all my knowledge about Sidemen just like
It's just gone out the window. Yeah.
gone out the window. So we have 10th Planet.
The classic.
So that's Mark 0.1. Then we've got Mark 0.4 and Mark 0.6. Okay, that.
So we haven't even
that
got
makes
1,
sense.
2, 3, and 4. We've got
that makes sense. And then. Right, and then I'm
Right, we're
guessing
gonna
this
run out of
last
room
one
here for
is
this last
Cybus. Yeah, I'll just have to like hold it or something. Yeah, lovely. Mark 0.8.
0.8.
Fantastic. So yeah, I have to try and work out
If that's
how
it.
they've
If that's
worked
right,
that out.
yeah.
Well, very kind of you. Thanks for that.
No worries.
Thanks so much.
That's a nice little gift.
Very, very nice. Yeah, they'll make a lovely display piece or be used as coasters or whatever. I almost kind of don't want to use them as coasters because they're so nice, aren't they? But,
Even the way they've been finished, they've got like a nice brush finish to them.
Very kind of Cyberman-esque,
Yes,
isn't it?
yeah.
Very kind of metallic. Lovely. Let's get them out of the way though as we move on to the main feature because I want to be able to see all these lovely
Ties.
ties which we
That
brought along.
are a little nod to what we might be doing in future.
Yes, stay tuned. Stay
So,
tuned.
anyone that has paid attention to my Instagram recently, bit of a 10th Doctor in the works. We've got the coat so far. The suits, you'll see in time, and me and Richard have like a double bumper, back-to-back sort of thing. We'll plan for that.
Sure.
Dedicated to maybe the brown and blue. But specifically, those who know their 10th Doctor ties will know these all appeared in Series 2, which moves on to obviously the main event,
Da, da, da.
which is the Sonic Screwdriver. So would you like to open it?
Well, go on. Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, if you're happy.
Yeah.
Happy with that. So yeah, like you say, you've been kind of branching out beyond the Capaldi stuff, haven't you? And the David Tennant 14th Doctor stuff, which we've talked about already. It's very exciting to hear about all these things that are in the works.
It's just a matter of time before
Just a
they all
matter of
turn
time,
up.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, lots of exciting stuff with various different Doctors, so do stay tuned. Okay, so that is going to want another. Oh no.
There we are.
Okay. More of this.
More of that.
Let's pop that there.
So first thing is a little card insert. That looks like the certificate
actually-
of authenticity to me.
Let's do this. So the first bit we get there. Yeah, certificates of authenticity number 199 out of 300 with the new logo there, 9th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, the wide slider variant, and a lovely view of the TARDIS. TARDIS PNG on the
That
background.
classic one
The classic
they used
one,
on
yeah.
the 13th Doctor reveal, because of course they did.
I feel like I should hand all these things to you as I'm going.
It's fine, don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll
and then-
we'll put that back there because it's irrelevant.
Sure.
Edition number 199 is quite nice
That is
because
nice, isn't it?
it's like Series 1 and 9 is the first person who
There we
used
go,
it.
isn't
So
it? Yeah. Then we have a kind of...
the care list, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Care list. Congratulations on your purchase of the officially licensed Screen Accurate's 9th and 10th Doctor's screwdriver from Doctor Who. Oh, it's missing an apostrophe, I'm sorry.
It's missing an apostrophe.
That can go on your feedback thing. Lovely coasters, but blah, blah, blah. So, aluminium, Perspex, Delrin copper, and 3D printed resin. We've got an extending emitter, a custom-made sound chip, which emits the sonic frequency, and an LED which lights up. Okay, I will again give that to you to process. There was that as well. You want to say that? Yeah. So we've got 199 written on there. If you can see that, I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. More bubble wrap. Oh yes, okay. So this comes in that kind of cylindrical,
Tube.
like biscuit tin kind of packaging, doesn't it?
So, to begin with the packaging,
Yes.
what's your thoughts on it? Compared to last time, obviously.
This kind of makes for a more
Slimlined?
slim,
Efficient.
yeah, more Oh, I've got a glimpse of it already. Spoilers. Right. I guess more of a kind of display piece potentially. Does feel a little bit like
It's
I say,
less
a
impressive.
little bit kind of biscuit tin, isn't it? Kind of
Less secure.
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, kind of takes up less space. I suppose,
We'll get some nice photos and we'll drop them in as we're talking.
We've got the same information now.
Splurge
some
on the
Gallifreyan text. Yeah, it really is just like a biscuit tin.
Literally, if you look at the bottom, it's even got the barcode.
Yeah, there we go.
We know you bought this from somewhere like IKEA.
Before we go any further, then, we'll talk about the history of the actual prop. But in terms of Rubbertoe, how many times have they released this Sonic or versions of this Sonic before?
So prior to this one, Nick did do a run of what I think is the later Series 4 one, but it's blue. So it's when it's repainted for the Sarah Jane Adventures into Series 5. But specifically, this is from 1 and 2, when the Screwdriver had an improvement to it, and give or take your improvement on it. Compared to the later props, some people think in terms of quality, it looks a little bit jank.
So this was an improvement on the prop that featured in Rose, right?
And
Aliens of London
and World War III.
First block of filming, okay. I should say as well, the only other time I've encountered this Sonic to my memory, of course, is the character options toy. Actually, I was going back through the character options Sonic recently for a thing, and it's actually crazy how many versions of that particular Sonic they've done.
From the mint green toothpaste variant.
All different shades of colours, a bit like you were saying.
Yeah.
The original ones, I think, had like a smooth texture, no like none of the cracked thing or barely any.
Then there's like an intermediate one which kind of has it in there, and then
there's all the different all the different stages.
As it gets
like
stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I think there's smooth in the cream colour, smooth in a different colour, cracked in the pink colour, cracked in the yellow colour, whatever. There's like loads of different ones. I was looking at a list actually in David Howe's, one of the David Howe books that documents all the different Doctor Who merchandise, and it's crazy the amount of Sonics they had and the amount of like packaging variations and stuff as well. Like I got that as a kid and I thought there was only like one of them, but clearly not. There were loads before that I missed. But anyway, and as we're discussing, they're quite sought after these days, aren't they? The characters.
They've gone up in price. I think some of the originals. I think it's probably because the last re-release was the B&M one, I want to say, a few years ago with the War Doctor.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
And that really strange 11th Doctor one that doesn't extend. You get what I mean? That cheap one where they were like...
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, that's the character ones. This should be significantly better. This is a replica then of that Series 1 and 2 prop. Let's get into it. Open the biscuit tin. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's got like a little gap there for the top of it to sit inside.
And then it just drops out of the case, which is a bit...
That's,
bit odd,
okay, so
isn't
there's
it?
nothing...
That's exactly
nothing
as it
surrounding
came,
it.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
That's stage 1. Obviously, I think that's the 10th Doctor or 9th Doctor in Gallifreyan, maybe.
Oh, is it actually something significant?
So probably, I'd imagine. You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
You would hope so, yeah.
The Screwdriver itself now.
Okay, again, like with the 11th one we talked about and did a review of or whatever, I want to be really careful with this, but just going to lift up out of there, and then we've got a little base thing underneath.
Do you want me to get the base out while you take?
Should we do that?
Yeah, that works. So, to begin with, the base, the 9th and 10th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, exactly same spiel as always, has the new Doctor Who logo. I think the taxi logo would have been quite nice, but that's on the base. Got the edition number as well. And then it's a turned bit of aluminium. Compared to the previous light-up base, I don't know.
Okay.
It's very secure, but overall, what's your initial impression of it?
I mean, like I was saying, and like with the 11th one as well, my initial kind of thought is, like, it's quite different from the toy that we're used to.
It's tiny, isn't it?
Smaller, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's really petite. The crackling effect is so much smaller as well. It probably won't show up on...
It's because it's a painted effect.
Put some images on. Okay.
So it's painted onto an aluminium, like, base, effectively.
Right.
So they'll put like a primer on it, then they'll put like a black coating on it, I'd assume, and then they put this white paint. But due to the way the chemical compound in the paint, it basically, as it dries, it sort of shrinks, so it leaves that crackling.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I believe in, I think
incredible.
the episode is called Weird Science of Confidential. Eccleston showing off that screwdriver. You can see on,
right.
you know, some of the ripples a bit lower down. There's a few chips on the paint. You can actually see the aluminium underneath.
Oh, okay, really? Yeah.
We'll insert the image if we can find it.
Because obviously with this, it's just molded in, isn't it? But
Yeah,
that's
it's
so interesting to see that. Yeah. Initial thoughts, initial comparisons. I mean, the metal finish is really nice, like as we saw with the character 14th Doctor screwdriver last year. You know, it's like shiny stuff, looks really nice, and obviously this isn't plastic; it's actual proper metal. That's quite mesmerising as well, isn't it? The bit in the middle there, yeah, the kind of the cable.
So on the season 1 and 2 props specifically, the wires on all of them were black.
Could we do that?
Black and red, hence why the original toys, the earlier ones, were black, the wires. So the original props were black
it was
and red.
completely
But
black, was
the
it?
later ones were yellow. You know, the yellow wires that ran up the channel through
that
series
rings a
3 and
bell.
4.
The top of it as well, the blue bit again, that's a really nice kind of sort of marbly finish right inside there.
I'd say
nice,
what's
isn't it?
happened is it's really clear.
Yeah.
But here, just in the lens, I think what they've done is they've frosted the inside of the emitter, so that when the LED is placed up and you hold it down, obviously makes the lighting sound. So obviously makes one sound effect.
Sure.
As opposed to the multiple. I think that made 2. It made like the initial, this version of the sound, and it also made the whirring, scanning version of the noise.
Okay, because this one does just...
That, which is this.
Yeah, it's the same one, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I see.
Other than that, it's sort of really nice. It's a bit light in the hands, I think, as a prop. I prefer the 11 one, I think, in terms of how it looks. But also, it's got like a really... is it called like a Doppler effect?
It rings a bell from GCSE physics, yeah.
So, because the speaker is hidden in the handle
Uh-huh.
of the sound, I don't know if we'll be able to pick this up.
Oh, okay.
Basically where the speakers have been implemented on the replica.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Kind of roll up the
it
pitch
gets
slightly.
louder as you
Yeah.
extend it, so sounding like the prop's getting more powerful.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
But it is interesting, isn't it? It's a nice prop. So after tax, this cost me £795. The question is it worth the money? Because it is the prop. But it really comes into that realm where
Was the Matt Smith one much different?
I want to say the Matt Smith one was either originally same range or it might have been a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
But that's because it's got a lot more parts to it, in
Sure.
my opinion. But I just don't. Compared to the Matt Smith one, I was a lot more impressed by it, I think. While this one, it feels very light and very cheap, but that's probably how the original prop was constructed
I was going to
itself.
say, yeah, I guess that's kind of part of it, isn't it? Okay, yeah, I can see what you mean. I mean, I remember I did a video last year looking at all the times the Ninth Doctor used Sonic on screen, and going back and looking at those examples from Series 1, it was quite striking how small it is, how small it looks, how often you can barely see it because he's got it in his hand there and it's like you can just like see the tip of it pointing out. It's very much, I suppose, of that time and before we had 11 Sonic and onwards, which were more about like having things... I mean, this slides up, but obviously that has the claws, doesn't it? And the 12th Doctor's second one as well.
And it's
More
very static once
elaborate
it's open.
designs.
Yeah, I mean, while this one, you slide it up, you take your finger off it.
It's like, yeah, I see.
just
You have to
drops
keep
down.
keep your finger there. So that sliding thing is... Oh yeah, I do like that. That's really nice.
It's a cool effect, I will admit.
That's cool, yeah.
Going into the history of the prop, originally this started off as something referred to, and I'll get the pictures to Richard, called the static Aztec cream, where, Richard, you've actually got the torch up there with the button on the top. The original Sonic screwdriver used to just have the micro switch on the top with a little plate around it up here, and then you'd have to extend the head with your hand like this.
Oh, okay, I
as
see.
opposed to having
So
the slider, and that was through Rose and Aliens of London.
the button was completely separate from the slider, is that right? Have I understood that right?
So the button was up here, and
Yeah.
it didn't slide or anything. You had to manually move the
manually-
head.
Wow, okay.
But I
And
think
that's what this is based on,
yeah,
is it?
what Eccleston fed back was it would be a lot easier if the slider was on the button to move the Sonic.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah.
Like,
Kind of goes without saying.
and this
surely.
got introduced. So basically, what they did to the prop, they took the slider plate off, from my understanding. They then burrowed this tunnel into this area, you know, for the channel for the switch.
Sure, yeah.
After they'd removed the plate, and they repainted this handle, they then stuck this button on it, and then this prop, basically, it's first seen in End of the World when the Doctor's with Jay doing some controls and Toxic is playing, and then its last on-screen appearance is officially, it's Doomsday, and I don't know if it's exactly the scene, because it might actually be the scene where he's on the beach and he sonics at the TARDIS, but it's that famous scene where Dalek Sec sonic probe, and David says screwdriver, and he goes, "It is harmless," and he says, "Harmless is just a word, that's why I like it. Doesn't wound, doesn't kill, doesn't maim. However, I'll tell you what it does do, it is very good."
Opening doors.
And then that goes and everything goes crazy. But I think actually in terms of production blocks, the last time this is seen officially is Satan Pit.
That two-parter was
That
the last thing
two-parter,
filmed,
yeah.
wasn't it, for series 2?
And it's when the Doctor and Rose are the Ooda like we must feed, and they point the screwdriver, or he points the screwdriver while she picks up a chair at the U to defend themselves. But the screwdriver's weirdly not used. However, it is used for a promo picture where David is like that to an Ood's head.
Yes, you were talking to me about that. Okay, yeah.
It then later got changed in season 3, so this slider channel plate got filled. So that got filled. They then rotated it. Do you see where the blue strip is?
Yes.
They then burrowed a new one in, and they made the first version with the traditional plate that we're used to all seeing, but it had a screw in it, and then it had 2 other screws, so it's called the tri-slider.
Whew.
And it had a different type of slider, but that one was a little bit more jank, because the blue strip needed putting here instead, on the prop, because obviously...
So they moved everything around, basically.
And, and then this got extended, like, here instead, with a new slider plate. But as a Series 3, that prop broke out, because this was getting to the point where it was like...
I can imagine, yeah.
So by season 4, I believe Nick Rubbertoe himself actually did the season 4 props and renovated it.
Yeah.
This head remains the same. I'm not sure if this changed, the end cap, but I know for a fact, because this is a very complicated piece to engineer and machine,
I can imagine that, yeah.
that this stayed the same. And basically the main piece that changed was this handle. And then they went for an entirely new midsection, painted it grey, and then later on that Sonic for the Sarah Jane Adventures I was telling you got repainted blue.
Yes, Wedding of Sarah Jane.
And then it was carried forward to 11th Hour, and then it ends up in the gunk. And the current prop that is actually still, I think, in private hands, actually has a load of paint missing, because the gunk they had put it in with Prisoner Zero.
Oh, okay, did it kind of ruin it? Yeah. Beyond repair.
It melted the paint.
Yeah.
And there's literally a strip about here on the Sonic screwdriver where it's just entirely, I think, like aluminium, because Matt Smith has basically, you can see him when he goes, what's the bad alien done to you? And he's like that.
Oh my god.
And he's just ripping all the paint off the screwdriver, because obviously it's been in that gunk. And that was the last time specifically elements of this prop was seen, but I quite like it in this form because it looks a little bit haphazard in a way, you know what I mean? That low production BBC quality.
Was it always the case that this little bit here at the top of the bit that they've burrowed out was a separate piece? Did that kind of continue onto the
later on,
or
I think this
is
a separate piece here, but there was like an element, this piece was tunneled with like a tooth. Does that make sense? And it'd clip on, and then that burrow channel would be thinner for the slider plate. So that aluminium bit would have like an extra bit here that would descend down.
The aluminium kind of extended down
a little bit, yeah, like a little strip, and then...
Wow, yeah. But
there's like different versions of this, and Nick does currently have a season 4 version of this available. That for a future video.
Yeah, we'll see.
So at the same time as this, there was something called the Grey Aztec. They retained that button on the top, and then there's actually a shot of that prop when Martha walks up to him when he's the human doctor and goes, "Name it," and he looks at it like, "What is that?" And the actual plate here, that little crackle plate, has fallen off, and it's just the micro switch on the top, and the prop looks really battered. But that one then got later restored to have a slider channel. But you can actually see that one, and the part of the reason probably Eccleston ended up giving the feedback on this that he did to make this easier to operate was, you know, when the Doctor is playing the accordion in the Lazarus Experiment.
The organ.
No, organ,
in the cathedral. Yeah,
sorry. The organ. And he goes, "We need to turn this up to 11.
Yes.
He bites the head of the screwdriver because he can't, obviously... and that actually left dents in this top metalwork.
Oh my
Because David, obviously in a
goodness.
rush, has bit in the head and then shoved it in the accordion. I think the 10th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, and I've said it before, it's a very beautiful piece, but I think it's over-designed.
Oh, do you? Okay. That's
To
interesting.
the point of...
'Cause it's quite small and quite...
It's very
think
clinical.
of it being simple compared to like Matt Smith's, but so what would you say is kind of... Do you mean just the kind of all the different parts, so the different features and...
You can tell they thought about this well. The crackle is supposed to represent the interior coral TARDIS console.
Yes.
That looks
Of the TARDIS.
very much like the time rotor.
Yeah.
It's blue like the TARDIS itself.
Yeah.
And even the metalwork obviously resembles the metalwork inside the TARDIS. And I think from a standpoint, it's very clinical. It looks very good. But as a practical thing, it doesn't look nearly as impressive as... The Matt Smith one feels more like it's a tool. It feels more dynamic. Because this feels very pen-like.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Which brings me on to my next point. Recently, you've done a video on it. Russell made some comments regarding the new Shooty Gatwa Sonic Screwdriver.
Sure.
He was probably referring to his version of the screwdriver.
Yeah,
from his
rather
first
ironically
run.
yeah.
So, how does this look like a gun is my question to you. So, you've obviously talked about you get the place where it comes from.
I kind of get where it's coming from. I mean, clearly it does not literally resemble a gun or function like a gun. And actually, I have to say, seeing this as well and seeing how small it is and how it does just kind of fit into the hand, doesn't really protrude out much at all. It makes me kind of think even more like, oh, okay, like, yeah. I mean, you were saying to me, it's kind of... It feels like maybe it's a comment that comes from a good place, but perhaps didn't need saying or...
If you just like the Sonic Screwdriver design, just say you like Sonic Screwdriver
Yeah,
design. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't view this as a weapon.
No, I
It
don't
looks
think anyone
nothing
would say
like...
that. No.
It looks ridiculous. If you were to walk around on the street on a night, you'd get punched holding this. They'd be like, what the hell is this geek doing? And just go bump like that. But even the way it's used specifically in that Russell T Davies era, I can understand it later on, specifically with Matt Smith, where he's doing all this stuff and he's blowing stuff up. But David, it's more used like a scientific instrument.
Yeah, it's like obviously to open doors or like I was saying about how the Ninth Doctor uses it to scan stuff, to break or fix barbed wire, all that kind of thing. Quite sparingly used actually. That's one of the other things that struck me going back to Series 1 and looking at all those
specifically
different uses.
Eccleston.
Specifically with Eccleston, it was not used a lot, and you kind of, I suppose, can tell how they hadn't quite cottoned on to the fact that we can make money from this. We can make merchandise of this if we have it in the show a bit more. And obviously, like you say, that kind of went up to the max with the 11th Doctor. With this one, it's not as much of a thing because it is just literally there in his hand. Like a pen or something.
Now, talking once again on the price of this, if you can see on the head, a few bits that I'm disappointed at is the quality. Can you see the little machine marks that have been left, like the scratches?
Oh, the little lines.
Yeah. Not even like the little lines, but can you see there's like actual like diagonal scratches from something like where it's been chucked in a vice or something?
Yeah.
I think just a bit of feedback for Nick, for the price range you're charging for these should arrive perfect. I get these props got knocked around a bit, and to me that adds extra authenticity. But even you taking it out of the tin, you really struggle to get it out of the tin without bashing it.
Yes, I think it could be protected
better,
a lot more. And obviously at the top and the bottom it's okay,
but as soon as you open it, it just falls on its side.
As soon as you take off that top bit and it becomes less secure, then yeah, sure.
It's a very delicate, fragile piece, but I just like, we know what Doctor Who fans are like. They're meticulous as hell. Someone like me doesn't really care because I just view it as a prop and it's a laugh around thing for cosplay. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine people being quite disappointed with the overall quality. It's nearly there, but I just feel for the price range you are charging for this thing, you've got to be really careful which audience you're catering to.
Sure, okay.
And I do understand the feedback where some people say to me they're overpriced, because realistically they sort of are for a bit of aluminium.
Yeah. What's the cheapest one they've ever done? I mean, they're all sort of
I want to say
at least 700,
I
aren't they?
would say this.
Oh, is this the cheapest?
I think
okay.
this might be the most entry level
Okay. Yeah.
version. I could be completely wrong on that. Well, one from the actual show. He's done a couple of customs, like he's done a classic new series blend one that was a bit cheaper than this.
Yeah, and there's been things in different colours, right?
Yeah, but I think they were just as expensive as the Matt Smiths, if not like a little bit cheaper.
Sure.
But overall, it is a really nice screwdriver, but just some subtle improvements as a product can make it better. And it's something I will treasure, and it'll be in my collection, much like the ties, the glasses. Please bring the psychic paper back in stock. Then I can have the complete set. But overall, what's your opinion on it as a piece?
I think overall it's pretty convincing. Like I said, a lot smaller than I kind of had pictured it being. But I suppose a lot of that comes from being used to the toy and having that and playing with that. I agree with you about the kind of the packaging stuff. That's fair. But I think on the whole, like I say, some surprises there in terms of how it looks. But obviously that's accurate to the prop. It's a nice little piece, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it is indeed. Once again, this is like our little teaser to what is to come. As you can see, many ties here. We'll get into these.
It's always something bigger in the works. The one who waits kind of equivalent type thing. There's another one waiting.
Is that who I am now officially on your channel?
The one who waits.
The one who waits. That is me in the series finale.
Yeah.
It's just like shoot. He's like, is that it? Him.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But there obviously is more stuff in the works. This is very much the beginning of what we're ramping up to eventually, hopefully, do regarding the 10th Doctor stuff. We're getting there. Officially, we have all the ties, we have the coats, we have the trainers.
Which they're so interesting in themselves, the ties. Like, again, it's
a video in itself.
It's such a rabbit hole, yeah. Such a rabbit hole. All the different designs and stuff. Again, you never quite realise until you look, or until someone like you kind of comes to me and says, you do realise there was like a different tie in like each episode and all these different things. It's like, oh my god, like the level of detail there is crazy.
But it's so confusing to me, character options. Literally, just send me an email. Just send me a business email.
Yeah.
The amount of variants that idiots would buy that they've not done. So they've definitely done this one. They did
that is very recognisable.
On the matte one.
Yes.
They did it on the matte one and the regeneration matte in the suit from the End of Time. Where he's actually in the suit.
Yes, and isn't the Tenant in that wave in a different tie?
I think he's in the Hector,
which is kind of
which is this one. He's in the Hector, which is this one. But I think they've officially sort of done the Christmas Invasion one, old school. So the 13 Doctors set one where he just has a brown tie.
Yes. So,
it's based off probably
because the packaging says that's a Shakespeare Code variant. Is that correct?
But that'd imply it would be this.
Would it be that one? Okay. So again, I mean, the packaging also says like the 12th Doctor is a Deep Breath variant, and he's there in his black shirt. So. Yeah, it's not 100% accurate, but
it's like they could do really simple variants of the 10th Doctor. For example, say the 10th Doctor, where he has like his kayak sort of shirt, that darker shirt,
kind of the brownie
green shirt.
Yeah, yes.
And then they could do the navy tie with the brown dots. Something different.
And even like all the t-shirt open neck things as well, if they made a sculpt for that. I mean, it is crazy when you look at the number of 10th Doctor figures they've released,
but
and the lack of variation between them. It's like, even for like the B&M re-releases they've done,
what
like
were
in 2016 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, the set where it was the three of them. Yeah. Yeah, well, that was a prime opportunity to do something different. Like, if you have to do 3 10th Doctors,
10th Doctor with no pinstripe,
and make
it's a different topic for another day.
Such great stuff with these ties, and hopefully maybe they still will one day. I don't know,
but
yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching this unboxing.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing various other bits and pieces which you may or may not have already seen by the time this goes out. So I'm not going to commit myself to that. And obviously after that, loads of stuff to come in the future. Lots of stuff like we've talked about the ties and other costumes that are in the works. So yes, I feel like I've said it loads in this video, but stay tuned for more. Thank you, Joe, for joining me and for the gift and for sharing your lovely new sonic screwdriver with me as well and showing it off to all the viewers at home. So yeah, thanks for watching
and bye for now.
Goodbye.